For 4 days, 300 souls lived inside a bubble of music and connection. It was called the Jacob Collier Hideaway. It was a truly transformational experience, a place where everyone embraced exploration, openness, and curiosity. But what happens when you leave this bubble? When you're scattered back to your own corner of the world? For me, the experience was too meaningful to let it fade into a distant memory. So this podcast is my anchor, a space to share who you are, stories, inspiration, creative aspirations, and struggles. These are Hideaway Stories. And to begin each episode, I asked every guest to bring a song, a sound, a jingle that is meaningful to them, that inspired them. And this is the sound for my next guest.
Surprised
Okay.
me. Whoa.
I like it. It's
Thanks.
very beautiful. So tell me about why you chose this and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I was kind of going back and forth between two things, and they were both kind of flourishes, if you will, on the piano. And that particular one just has a feeling of kind of joyfulness, lightness. It really embodies a kind of pleasant, clean kind of feeling. And I really enjoy that. And it was kind of either that one or this other similar flourish, which was something that it was one of the first things I wrote back in college many years ago. But I decided on that one because it just felt right for the day.
And do you have this in mind often, or is it simply something that came to your head now?
You know, that particular flourish is something that I anytime I get on a piano, it's kind of one of the ways that I test the piano to see what the piano feels like, how it sings, and what its timbre is. And it's also a really great little. If you only have a second to play a piano in front of someone, you just play that little flourish, and they're always like, "Oh wow, it's really nice. It's pretty."
It is. Can you tell all the people who don't have perfect pitch what chord is this?
So that is, it's a G sus chord. So basically, it's going downward from the top. It's D, C, B, G in repetition. So one octave to the next. So D, C, G, B, D, C, G, B, D, C, G, B, just down the piano in every octave, and it turns into a sus4 chord. So basically, it's G major triad with the fourth included. And there's something about the descending nature of it that gives it this kind of airy, joyful presence. Yeah.
And since how long I like that you call it flourish. Since how long do you know this flourish or this way of, I think it sounds bright, it sounds lively, it sounds hopeful, like cheerful. Yeah. So is this something that you see also in all of your inspiration, or how, like when did it start to come up that you like this sort of sound?
So years ago, when I was first learning piano, I spent a lot of time trying to find kind of repeating, what's Jacob call them? They're not quite mantras, but I like to find something that I could repeat. And I would often, something I did quite a bit was I really fell in love with 1, 2, 5 in a major key. So kind of repeating like boo-doo-dee, 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 and then I would play chords underneath that. And so what I liked to find was something that would be a through line through things. And kind of from that repetition of a single set of notes, I started doing that in different octaves, moving the 1, 2, 5 through the octaves as well. And then that kind of led me to discovering these, what I started terming as flourishes, which is just something that kind of goes across the whole piano bed. That's how I kind of discovered this idea that you can just play the same thing in every octave up and down the piano. And it's a classic piano technique, something a lot of people do. But that's kind of how I came into it. And I've always loved about piano the breadth of how wide you can get. From the top to the bottom, you can just send this feeling across the whole spectrum. And I always liked
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It almost feels as if this is supposed to exist on a harp.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this brightness and this, like, it would make it even more. I think harps are just amazing. They have such a beautiful vibe. Yeah, but the piano is, of course, it's a different. I mean, the what do you call it?
The
You
hammers or
you don't
yeah,
hammer it, but you pull the strings.
yeah, so a harp, you actually pluck
Yeah,
them
yeah.
with
You
your fingers.
you pluck exactly. You pluck
Right.
it and then you hammer it. So I like that. It makes a completely different feeling of how it sounds when you pluck it or
It does.
actually
It
hammer it.
also makes me think that it could be the opening to a logo for like a movie company or something.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you're
it's
right.
like
Yeah,
that like when the MGM comes around or some kind of logo comes and it goes
yeah,
and it runs down. Yeah, I think I think about it. It seems a little commercial in a certain
yeah.
way, but I still really love it.
In a crazy juxtaposition, it would be in a movie where the villain is in a evil corp, and they try to mask their evil thing with a beautiful jingle.
Yeah, that would be great.
But also, I think it's very genuine what you played, so I don't want to push it in that action. But I can really see that some evil corporation tries to
That's a great blend.
Yeah.
Someone trying to cover up their evil by having this really pretty entrance music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Blake, who are you? I mean, it's a very unconventional way of going into an episode,
Sure.
but I feel that I get to know already a lot about you by listening to this. So who are you, and what's your background, musical background? Where do you exist in the world?
Great.
Whatever you want to say.
Sure. So my name is Blake Briand. I'm in Florida, Gainesville, Florida right now. I was born in Florida and I pretty much spent most of my life here. Musically, I started music in the 7th grade. My friend brought a trumpet home. My next door neighbor, he ended up in band and he had a trumpet, and I went over to his house after school and we started playing with it. Of course, I had to try it. And I thought it was fun. Plus, we were a little competitive and we were friends. So I asked my dad when I got home if I could join band too and get a trumpet and play it as well. And I did that, and I ended up being a trumpet player through college. And
So your first instrument was trumpet?
that's right. I
And
was a trumpet player.
Did you mix instruments, or was it just trumpet?
Not really. No, I was just a trumpet player. I took it pretty seriously. Here in the States, we have what do they call it? Solo and ensemble kind of competitions, which are where you basically play a solo piece with the piano and you get judged. And it's kind of the main way that they kind of judge competency in high school and middle school kids. And I remember that was always a big deal. And I took that very seriously. And I did well. I got the high grade's called a superior here. And I was able to get a few of those. And then I got my last one in my senior year, I played for Dr. Blackwell was his name, and he was the professor at a Florida community college up in Jacksonville, and he was the judge. And after my solo, my band director was there. It was a great moment, actually. He said to my band director, "How do I get this kid to come to my school?" And my band director he was a great guy. He just goes, "Give him a full scholarship." And the guy went, "Okay, done." And so I got a full ride to college.
Wow.
And
Wow.
on trumpet. And so
That's
I went
crazy.
to college. Yeah, it was good. And I played college trumpet and symphonic and jazz band for about 2 years. Then after
Yeah,
that,
that's. I wanted to ask that. When you say
sure.
ensemble, is it more like marching band, more like jazz? What is
So
the
yeah, so
background?
in the States here, they have most high schools have both. In the early few months of the school year, you have marching band, basically during the school's football season. Then come, I think it's January, maybe February, after Christmas, basically, you transition to symphonic band, and the rest of the school year is symphonic. And then a third class that we had in high school was jazz ensemble. And so when I went to college, I joined the college's symphonic band and jazz ensemble, and I played in both of those. Um, and after a couple of years, and during that, I was a music major. During that, I had to take class piano, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the very basics of piano and sight reading piano. And I took those as part of the course, the degree. And I only got through 3 of 4 of those classes. I didn't finish the fourth one before I left school, basically because I realized I didn't want to be a band director and I didn't see myself playing in an orchestra. And so it was kind of a waste of money because nobody asks you for your performance degree if you're a great player. I didn't see a use for where my life was going. So I left school. Um,
So
but
with school, you mean college?
College, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
only did
yeah.
about 2 years of musical education
Uh-huh.
in college and then decided that it wasn't for me. But
Okay. Can I pause you for a second? We
sure,
can come back in there, but otherwise, it's too many things where I want to ask questions
absolutely.
afterwards. So there's one discussion about college that is, of course, I mean, you can make the argument what you say about the certification. Like, do you really need it? Do you need all this to make a living, to pursue music? I mean, I would say most musical careers would tell you you don't need it. But there is something that I can see the value of, and it's being around other musicians.
Mm.
So how do you feel about this? Because I personally, I don't know how often I'm going to mention it, but probably I will. I've never been in any band. Like I've been solo my entire career. I've been self-taught. Like were no teachers, like nothing. And that's something that Hideaway really gave me, like the Jacob Collier Hideaway. That it's the first time where I really found my peers. Like I'm amongst people who think like me, who feel like me, who pursue this like me, who are passionate like me. And I can totally imagine that a college is a place where you have this environment that maybe hopefully like
Hmm.
encourages you, pushes you, like making music together. Like, what do you feel about this?
I think you're spot on. So there's a couple angles here. The educational side of it, you it's it depends on where you want to go. So let's break this into 2 parts. You've got the requirement for certification and then the environmental impact of being around people. So let's talk about the certification first. If you want to work in an organization, a school, a college, um, I don't know what else there would be, but you have to have a degree. That's a requirement. And so you got to go through the
Hmm.
paces and you got to get that degree. If you want to be a producer or a performer, commercially, no one asks for a degree. No one ever will ask you for a degree. They're going to judge you on your merits, your performance, or your skills and your skill set. Um, so depending on where you want to go, you got to think about that. Now, take into account the environmental thing. So when I was in high school, I was surrounded by other musicians and friends. Now, they didn't take it as seriously because it's high school. It's an elective. When you get to college, though, most people that are there have some serious reason to be there. There's still some people that are doing it in the high school method, like it's an elective, but they're going to go be a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or something. But they just like it, so they're doing it as well. But the majority of people that are music majors, they're there because music is their thing. Now, a lot of bands form in college. Like you get in, you meet these people, and you have similar musical tastes and plenty of I couldn't name a bunch of them, but I'm certain that lots and lots of bands, actually, one does come to mind. There's an American band called Dynamo, and they're really good, and they all met. I believe they're from Texas. Can't remember which college, but they formed a band. They're touring the country. They're doing great, and so I'm sure that happens a lot. And so college really is a place about connection, and there's a lot of importance there. And I can speak to that from my own experiences. When I left school, I pretty much music evaporated from my life. I stopped playing the trumpet because I wasn't in a symphonic band or a jazz band. And locally, there wasn't one. And the trumpet's one of those instruments, man, you got to play it every single day or you lose it. So I lost it, and I don't
Oh,
really play the
really?
trumpet. Yeah, I don't play. I didn't lose the physically lose the trumpet, but I lost
No,
the
no, of
ability to
course.
play
But
the trumpet. Yeah, it
so would you
literally.
say? So would you say it's different with piano?
So piano is definitely a different beast when it comes to your what we'll call capacity or facility, right? When
Yeah.
you train, um, I'm trying to think of an analogy. I liken trumpet often. I call it an Olympic discipline because it requires
Okay. Yeah.
constant practice. You cannot miss a day. There's a famous saying, I can't remember one of the old famous trumpet players. Who was it? It wasn't Dizzy. Um, it doesn't matter. He said if you maybe it was Winton. I think it was Winton. He said if you miss one day, you'll know it. If you miss 2 days, your band will know it. And if you miss 3 days, the audience will know it. And trumpet is brutal like that. If you
Wow.
miss your training regimen, it really requires a minimum of an hour a day. Most professionals do a
Wow.
couple, 2 to 4 hours a day of practice and training to maintain.
So
Because
what makes it so? I mean, I love trumpet. I mean, I really like the sound. Especially, I love the muffled. Like to me, this war. I just love it so much. Like the vibe of it. There's I think there's no instrument. I mean, I love many instruments, but
sure.
this sound you cannot reproduce it with any other instrument. Really, it's like this high, like I don't know what range it is, like 2K, 4K range. That
Hmm.
and I really, really love it. But from the difficulty level, I never had a first-hand experience or know many trumpet players. I know that violin is crazy, crazy hard as well.
Hmm.
What makes trumpet so that you have to practice every day?
Yeah. So primarily, it's the fine muscles of we'll call it the embouchure. So in your lips and around this area of your face, you have to create a specific type of tension to create a buzz with your lips and the mouthpiece. And those fine muscles, um, to condition them and to give them strength and endurance requires that level of consistency. They lose their conditioning really quickly. So think of it like a weightlifter who's working on their bicep and they're curling, and eventually they get to where they can curl X pounds, so many reps. Well, if they don't work out for, let's say it's 100 pounds and 100 reps, if they don't work out for a week, they probably could still do 100 pounds, 100 reps. It might be tough. If they go 2 weeks, they might drop to like 98 reps. So there's a fall off to the conditioning of your muscles and how quickly you lose the capacity that you've trained yourself up to. The fine muscles of the face, they lose their conditioning really, really quickly. So it requires constant refreshing. You constantly have to keep them in use, or the muscle conditioning goes away. And that's really the largest challenge. There's a little bit of breath work challenge and the control of the diaphragm, but really that doesn't go away. Now, in contrast to that, um, the muscles of the hands, and the dexterity and the muscle memory of the hands don't go away nearly as fast. So on piano, that flourish that I just did, I haven't played it in months, maybe a year since I sat down at the piano. And yeah, I had to knock the dust off. It took me like 2 tries to get it right the first time, but I literally just sat down and went and played it. So there's a far higher level of capacity retention and the muscle memory of a piano than there is now. And that's at my level. If you get to the highest level of piano players who are, you know, the ones that you
Of
see
course,
playing
yeah,
crazy, crazy things,
yeah.
they will tell you, I'm sure that they will tell you that the highest level of performance on piano requires the same amount of discipline. and that trumpet
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
So it
Yeah,
might
I
just
can
be
imagine. Yeah.
a level issue.
Yeah. So thank you for I'm just warning you we're going to jump around a lot, but
Well, that's fine.
I promise you as well that we will come back to your story.
Sure.
But let's stay on the trumpet for a second more. And I'm actually interested in who are your inspirations? Like, what are the people that one maybe that you listen to, but also that you feel should be listened to? Like someone who maybe even is into jazz, maybe not.
Yeah.
What should we listen to really understand a trumpet?
So when I was a kid, I got given a CD, and it was Wynton Marsalis, and I don't remember the title of the CD, but it was Wynton Marsalis and a piano player. And I listened to that many, many times. And I also listened to a recording in my high school band. There was this old man. He was really old. God, what was his name? Mr. Bob. His name was Mr. Bob, and he was this really old guy who used to be like a gigging jazz player back in the day when it was legit. And he would come in and play in the jazz band because we were missing a tenor saxophone. And it was a friend of our band directors, Mr. A was his name. And this old guy would come in, and he would bring me cassette tapes of jazz recordings from his record player. And one of them that he brought was Wynton Marsalis playing the Carnival of Venice. If you want to hear something that will just blow your mind about
The Carnival of Venice?
The Carnival of Venice.
Okay.
It's a classic piece of music, and Wynton Marsalis plays it on the trumpet. Now, it's very difficult. It's got techniques like double and triple tonguing in it, which is a way of making really, really quick staccato motions. And it's really, really a tough piece. I could play the first movement of it, but I could never mess with the last couple of movements because the technique is crazy. But there's a point in that song where it sounds like two different trumpets are playing at the same time. And it's not. It's one guy playing in like a melody down in this octave and a melody in this octave, but they're separated. And it's wild. So I encourage anyone to
Wait,
listen
you can make two sounds at the same time with the
you
trumpet?
can't, but think about it. He's playing so quickly. So he's going
jumping.
He's like jumping. He's like going bump, 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 bump,
yeah, okay,
and what it sounds like is sounds like the low player is going bum, boom, 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 bum, bum. It sounds like the higher player is going like this, and it's just one guy jumping between the registers, which on trumpet is crazy hard to do. Yeah. So Wynton Marsalis was my original.
Because you changed the octave with your mouth,
yes,
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. You train in trumpet talk. We call them partials.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I tell you my favorite. I mean, I'm not very literate with trumpet, I just like listening to it. But do you know the song "Spody Odie Dopalicious"? by
I love it. I love it. No, I don't. Let me get I'm going to write this down. I'm going to check it out.
It's by Outkast.
Oh, then of course I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it. I'm sure.
A Quinimini album.
Then I've heard it.
And,
yeah.
Like it's a 7-minute song or something where they just talk. And then in between there is a trumpet, and it's the song is called Spody Odie Dopalicious. Oh my God. I just love it so much. I don't know how hard it is to play. I guess it's not easy, but it's really cool. I can recommend you listen to it.
I'm going to write that down to check out. Dopalicious. Another one later. And so there's a lot of influences in my youth. Just the classics. I mean, you go back to Dizzy Gillespie, and Red, and these.
You're not
these
mentioning
old jazz.
Miles. I mean, that's usually the first anyone tells.
Yeah, I know a lot of people go straight to him. He got to me in college, so I didn't get to him until I got to college. And when I discovered Kind of Blue, I had Kind of Blue. This was back when cars had CD players, and there wasn't Spotify or anything. So this is 2001 or 2. I put Kind of Blue in the CD player of my car, and I didn't take it out for a year. And every time I drove my car, everywhere I went, I was listening to. I probably listened to that entire album 300 times, front to back. And I could literally sing Miles I could sing the whole album along with him as it comes on.
So you're
Heard it so
basically
many
the
times.
opposite of Jacob then,
Um,
where he mentioned that he went to and from college and listened to one album per bus
per
or
day.
train ride.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
No,
great.
2 albums per day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you listened to one album 300 times.
Now,
So
yeah,
yeah,
I listened to Kind of Blue for a year, and didn't take it out. And that definitely became, I was never a very skilled improviser. So I would always revert to the very simplistic way that, and not simple artistically, but, um, Miles he didn't really go for the crazy facility uh, runs that everyone else would do. He spoke in a more simple vocabulary, but he still had an incredible way of making a statement. And I would try to mimic him because I didn't quite understand all the bebop, where the people can just fly through chord changes. I never could really do that. Um, so Miles came a little bit later. There's another great one I just want to throw out. There's an album called The RH Factor. Wow. I listened to this so many times and the name is escaping me. Let me see if I just pop over here and put an RH Factor and see. Oh, Roy Hargrove. Yeah, sorry. Roy Hargrove, the RH Factor. RH, there you
Roy
go.
Hartgrove.
Hargrove.
Hargrove.
Hargr. Yep, Hargrove.
Okay,
Great
okay.
album. Really pushed the boundaries forward of making trumpet more of a like commercially usable thing. Um, you don't hear, like Kenny G made saxophone commercial. Like you would just
I
listen to
was
nothing
just
but
thinking about Kenny G.
right. You would just make the saxophone what you're listening to. And now the RH Factor cannot be compared to Kenny G. It's way more hip. Um,
But did he
but
make it also sexy? Did he make trumpet
yeah,
sexy?
he
Yeah.
did. He did. He
Okay.
did. He was the first guy to like make like a neo soul funky kind of groove and then put
Mm.
effects on his trumpet. Like he would put wahs and phasers and stuff on his trumpet and play, and it's a really great album. So in modern times, he's one of the guys that I like a lot.
Yeah, I think the sexiness of a trumpet is it's sometimes teased, like in these film noirs where there's this um like moody smoking cigar detective in a dark room and the lady comes in and has a case for him and you
Yeah,
usually hear some sexy trumpet. Yeah.
yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
imagery.
Okay. Thank you. So sorry, let's get back to you were dropping out of college.
Yes, I dropped out of college. I said I don't need this. This isn't going to do anything for me. And people's lives take different turns, but I would say that the next decade of my life was not particularly focused on music. However, we'll say that I got a Casio keyboard and I had a mini disc player, and I started, one of the ways that I kept making music was I would make
Mini
these
disc
little,
is also wild.
oh,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
old. And I honestly, I needed to, just recently, a little side note, I had to go on a search for months to find someone with a mini disc player that I could use to just take a few old mini discs and convert them to digital,
Oh
because
wow. Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
find them anymore.
Yeah.
And you can find a couple on eBay and they're like $700 for a mini disc player. I was like, so anyway,
Really?
so yeah, they're like good ones in good shape are like $500 to $700 now, because they're completely discontinued technology. You can't
That's
find them.
crazy. Okay.
So
Okay.
I had those two things, and I would make little grooves on the piano. And it was one of those pianos that had like 2 tracks that you could record and you could change instruments. And I would make these grooves and then I would play the trumpet on top of the grooves and record it on the mini disc. And that was kind of the tailing off of music for me. And around that time, I also started trying to write the very first songs that I'd ever written. And of course they were bad. they were bad.
So let me wait. So before you dropped out, you didn't write songs, you didn't do something like compose or do something for
No,
yourself.
I,
Okay.
I started to play around with, the piano a little bit. I started finding there's a couple of things that I wrote on the piano. Let me see if I can remember them. I don't know if this will pick up. I'm going to try this real quick. Let's see if it'll work. I don't know if that came through or not through the microphone, but
Yeah, it did. It
that
did.
was the very first piece of music I ever wrote.
Oh,
I
wow.
still have
Oh,
not
you wrote
done
that.
anything with that.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. You wrote that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's the very first piece of music I ever wrote on the piano. And I have to this day, I haven't used it
It's
for anything.
can I ask about this?
Yeah.
About this piece? Because I feel it's also very it it conveys a lot when you compose and do music, like what kind of music, what style. And you were influenced by trumpet, by jazz, by ensembles, by all of these people. But what you composed was, I would say, quite not classical, but modern, like not jazzy at all.
Mm-hmm.
Very straightforward. I mean, it has a beautiful vibe, but it's not really what you came up with, like what you grew up with. So what is there a reason
No,
for that?
it's interesting. You're asking questions I probably have never asked myself. So I can give you the kind of off the cuff. It's nice to have to be asked questions like this because
Yeah, that's usually what I do. Yeah.
no, you discover things about yourself you weren't quite aware of. I'm realizing as I sent you the original opener and I've played that, and I think that deep down, I've always been enamored when music causes me to feel pleasant, joyful, safe, happy.
Mm, mm,
Because music, you can indulge in it in a lot of different emotional ways. You can seek out music that is sad, melancholy, sexy, angry. Like basically the whole palette is there. And I find that I'm drawn to trying to create things that feel uplifting and happy and joyful. Or at least I was. I think I've broadened that scope quite a bit. The recent work that I've been doing definitely has a kind of is in that category and it has a spiritual aspect to it or an uplifting
mm,
aspect
mm.
to it. But also, I
Yeah, I
wouldn't
definitely
say
want
that.
to talk about. I want to talk about that part if you're willing, the demos
Sure.
that you sent me and all of these things as well, because I'm seeing a through line with that. I mean, from what you played, like the first thing, and
Mm-hmm.
then the first composition that you just played, and what I heard in the Hideaway, the Under the Arch, the
Mm-hmm.
one of the most amazing moments of my life.
It was great for me
And
too.
yeah, and now the demos, it feels very much like you explained it. Like you have something in your music that I don't know how cheesy this is, the word for the listeners, but I think you and we definitely have a connection to that word, and I'm saying love.
Yeah.
Like there's something that you convey that is just um it's like somebody's buttering your soul with like some warm butter with honey, like
Nice.
you can lean into it and just be held and feel this love that comes towards your way. And I don't know how you do this. I guess it's because of your bassy voice, probably.
Maybe it could have
I
something to
already
do with it.
told you that you're a bit of the white Gregory Porter to me, like a tiny bit, like it reminds me a bit of that, like with
Yeah.
the way you go deep and up high as well, like
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, and what does that do to you when I say that?
I agree with it. Love is a powerful thing. In songwriting, the line between poignant and cheesy is razor thin.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I started off just way over on the cheesy side because I wanted to express something beautiful. And in the beginning, you have to, it's kind of like you have to explore this line and then listen back and the number of times that I've listened back to what I've made and felt absolute cringe, just gone, oh, it's horrible. It's so many times. And what would happen, what I remember happening is I would listen back and there would be 3 seconds, 5 seconds where I would be like, oh, there it is. And then the rest I would hate it.
Okay, so let me stay there. I mean, I'm sorry.
No,
Probably my thing is to go into a moment and then broaden it again.
Sure.
What is the difference between these 3 and 5 seconds that are really make you feel something and the ones that make you hate it and it's cheesy?
So it really comes down to, for me, it comes down to, there's a term on the nose. And when things are too on the nose, so I'm trying to think of an example and I'm looking at lyrics that I have up on the screen behind me. So too on the nose is, I think you're beautiful. I want to hang out with you. Like, right.
Yeah.
And I won't try to come up with the good way because I'm on the spot, but that's not the way to say it in a lyric. There needs to be a little bit of metaphor. There needs to be a little bit. Here's the interesting part. Sometimes saying it exactly as it is the most perfect way to say it. It's contextual. And so what would happen is that those 3 to 5 seconds where it was good, what's really going on is this. All people who are creators, we have taste to begin with. And our skills, our capacity, our facilities are at 0. Some people have God-given talent. They start at 10, out of 100, or they start at 50 out of 100. But most of us start with pretty much nothing. And you can't play the piano. But we all tend to have taste. I think this was an Edie Brickell quote, but this is not my quote. This is wisdom. That I read this and thought, God, I wish I'd have known this a long time ago. And I'm paraphrasing, but basically, you got into this game because you had taste and you wanted to express something. And as you attempt to do that, you're going to hate everything you make at first because you're not good at it yet. And your taste is going to inform that. Your taste is going to go, this sucks. And most people get discouraged and they quit and go, I'm bad at this. The ones that become great are the ones that just went, okay, try again. And they kept going until they've written 100 songs. And one day their skill catches up with their taste and then sometimes exceeds it. And they do things that are beyond their own. And I'm a firm believer in receiving gifts of the muse, or however you want to say it. Some of the best things I've ever written, literally, this sounds cliche, but I don't feel like I came up with it. It just arrived.
I know exactly.
Arrived inside of me, and I quickly wrote it down as fast as I could, and you have it. And so that's
always
really the essence.
When people praise you for it afterwards, because it feels like, I don't know where, like, you cannot praise me. Like, I didn't really write this. Yeah,
that's a really interesting. It's the most beautiful experience to have. I have a couple of songs that came to me like that. Like the last one that I sent you. What am I calling it? I don't know. The names are all tentative. I think I'm calling it I Won't Believe You, or I Don't Believe You. That one downloaded pretty quick. I was writing it, and when the hook came to me, I was kind of writing the very opening lines, and I didn't know what I was writing. I was just kind of like letting some feelings out, seeing if I could come to something. And when I had this thought of, all of a sudden, it just was, what if they couldn't kill you? And that's a crazy sentence. That's a wildly powerful, potent sentence. Like, what if they couldn't kill you? And as soon as I heard that, I was like, that's what I'm trying to say here, is what if they had to listen? What if they were the ones that had to give in to what you wanted it to be? What would you build? What would you do? And all of that, just one led to the next, and it was like, it just instantly came, and then the rest of the song came. And it's a long song, and I recorded it in a day.
How would you feel if I, would it be an idea for you to be able to, that I play just maybe like a 30-second excerpt of the demo?
Yeah, as long
Yeah,
as everyone
maybe.
understands it's pre-production demo, it's not it's it's working in. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because I feel that that's really where the interesting world also, like this state where it's not completely finished and like it's a demo, but it already conveys something, and how's the polished product, like all of these processes to musicians. And I guess I hope the people, if anybody listens, it's probably anyone who's a musician or in music. And but what you said also, so thank you for being able to, like, I just put a tiny demo in there.
sure.
Going around, going in circles. Tell me what's real, tell me what I can depend on. Looking above, looking inside. Where can I find something real to hold on to? Everyone's lying, working an angle, trying to take whatever they can take from you.
But what I also found interesting is I wanted to clarify on the love part, because, and that's why I say you and I think we're somehow resonating the same in that sense. When I say love, I don't mean like relationship with a,
Yeah,
like, any.
romantic love. Yeah, it's not that.
Exactly. I don't mean Hollywood. Don't mean that. I mean to actually love as a field, like a shared field of experience and creativity and flow and gratitude and like safety and all of these beautiful words that, like, I don't know, passion and all of these beautiful words that to me are synonyms of love.
Yes.
And that's when I said love, I meant that you are in that realm, like in this.
I yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And thank you for saying that. You said it really well. There's a tons of words out there that are subsets of love, and because love is so undefinable, or rather means something different to every single human being, there's no two matching ideas of love, but it's definitely not romantic love. um I'll dare to say that it's, for me, it's kind of seeking to resonate with divine love, some love that is transcendent beyond human limitations of we're conditional. Humans are highly conditional. I love you if, I love you when, I love you if you meet these parameters. There's a concept of love that is beyond that. And it's crazy. That brings us right back to the other song that I've shared with you, which the hook is, please make a place there for everyone. And that statement is really me trying to say, man, everyone is has their challenges. And this is what a lot of people, this is a real deep idea, but I like a lot of people would benefit from it. And it's not mine. This comes from a beautiful teacher. They said, his name's Mickey Singer. He said, if you lived every moment and had every experience that any other person had lived, you would believe, act, and behave the exact same way they do. So we're the sum of our lived experiences. And if you had the same, and he goes, this is the essence and base of compassion. True compassion is understanding that you would be exactly like them if you had lived through what they had. And so we
Yes.
have
Yes.
such division in the world right now. And that is, that line is really me just hoping that somewhere along the line, there's a great, a great resolution to all of the conflict.
And
It's a hope.
it's so interesting. I mean, I love that it's getting a bit like almost philosophical, but I feel it's something that I deeply resonate with. Because in my experience, it's like the conditional love that is or any conditioning that we as humans experience through growing up and culture and all of these things. It's almost like it detaches us from exactly that place, this unconditional place, and it feels like I have to do this. Like I have to do something to be able to receive
right.
it, to get it, to be. And what I realized is once you turn the direction and go inwards, like you go into yourself and you find the place deep within you that is the heart, and all the layers of fear and insecurity that you have to go through to be able to be in that place again. I can understand why people rather fight their whole life than have this moment of fear and anxiety and maybe thoughts of not being a good person and being like blaming themselves for things that happened, because it's not an easy work to do to be able to go there. And I really, really like that there's people like you and of course others. I feel
Sure.
Jacob is way in that world. Like the way he brought people together. I would even say Hideaway is more about the people there than it's about Jacob.
Yeah.
And he does it as well. And I feel that's what we need now. Like everybody who's brave enough to express unconditional understanding and curiosity. And I feel it needs bravery to that, to be ambiguous, to not know exactly what's right and wrong. I can only applaud anyone who does it.
Yeah, Jacob is definitely, he's just an incredible human being. When I saw him in concert for the first time, there was a moment when he was singing Little Blue and he was standing, and I had front row seats because I indulged. I wanted to say, I loved him so much. I wanted to see him up close.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there and he was standing literally, 5 feet diagonal from me, standing right there singing the song. And I remember kind of coming back to myself in the middle of the song. And I had kind of like almost prayer hands because I was so like, I was basically like this, like, because it was so beautiful in the way he was expressing that song. And I just kind of like, I lost myself for a minute, and I kind of came to like this and was just like, whoa, what a powerful individual. And he is, I mean this in a light, playful way, but he's kind of messianic in his, like, he
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
he's got this energy, this vibe about him. Like he's ultra pure. You never see scandals. He doesn't sexualize himself commercially in any way whatsoever. He's super innocent. He's got like he's childlike in a way, but also incredibly competent and intelligent and present. Yeah, there's something going on with Jacob that is really cool. And if you spend any time around him at all, immediately just go, okay, this is a one-of-a-kind unicorn of a human being, and it deserves every bit of elevation that he's getting. Like he truly deserves it. And
platform.
Yeah.
I actually I would I would love to geek out for the next hour about how great Jacob is, because I could easily do it on so many levels. I have so many psychological explanations for that, and like I've really it's my thing as well. I'm in the psychology as my job. So but I would love to come back to you.
Sure.
You quit your job. You quit college.
Yep.
You wrote your first piece. That's where we.
Yeah. So I quit. Yep.
Went
we'll
all
come
the
back
way somewhere else.
So I quit. I quit school. Life had its own different challenges, and I was kind of in my house just writing terrible songs as I first, attempted to play with that. I want to add one interesting.
One thing.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, because terrible songs. I just thought the word cheesy.
Yeah.
I always say it's cheesy because it's easy.
Yeah. I mean,
But
there's something to that. There's something to that.
Because it's stuck in my head. I wanted to get it out. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. So I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and I'd forgot about this for a long time. There used to be a show called Star Search, and it was kind of like the earliest version of America's Got Talent. There was judges, and people would come out and do it. It's basically the very first talent show on TV. And I remember watching a guy sing, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think it was like the very first kind of public introduction to Luther Vandross. It might have been Luther Vandross. I don't remember. It's a vague childhood memory. I think he was on Star Search.
Insane.
I think he was on Star Search. And what I remember is watching this guy sing, and I got chills. And I remember being a little kid, and going, I wish I could do that.
Oh yeah.
And I never believed I could sing all through the whole time playing trumpet through college. Even the years after, when I was trying to write songs, I was just singing to try to, I don't know, I never really believed I could ever really do it with any skill. So that brings me back to this thing where I write these songs. I start writing and writing and writing, and I have, 6 or 8 songs. And then life just takes another turn. I stop doing that, and another decade, maybe 15 years goes by. And it was only around 2017, 18 that I started to play with writing songs again. And I always had this idea, I wish I could put out an album, and I wish I could, make, because an album stays around, 1,000 years from now, someone could listen to my music. It happens, maybe. I don't care if I get commercial success or not. The idea is I want to leave behind a creative work of some kind. And that's important to me. And I kept doing that all the way in a kind of, half-assed way up to when I went to the Hideaway. And I love Jacob. And when I got back from the Hideaway, there was a couple of things that I learned. And really, it was like, I came back from that going, I have to do it. I got to stop avoiding. I have to just, whatever it is, it's good or bad. I heard a great quote the other day, which was like, if you have writer's block, prove you're a bad writer. And the reason that you're blocked is because you're too worried about being good. And so to get out of your head, decide that you're going to write 5 pages of horrible literature, because anyone can do that and there's no pressure.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took that idea and was like, I'm just going to prove that I'm a terrible songwriter, and I'm going to finish songs. I'm just going to do it. And there's also great new tools in the world right now. Everyone's pretty scared or has opinions about AI assistance in music, and I use it. I won't lie about it. I don't intend to ever release commercially music that has AI in it. But it's a great exploratory tool and tool to help you kind of find production styles. I definitely would not, I'm not talking about using ChatGPT to help you write lyrics or anything like that. The process that I've come up with that's been really helpful is I'll sit at that piano behind me and I will write a song, because I can play and sing piano just fine. And I will write a song front to back. I'll record it really simply on my, on my phone. And then I will take that recording and I will put it in an AI tool. I use a tool called Suno. I'll put it in there, and I'll use a technique called covering, which is where the AI basically does a cover of the song that you shared with it. And you can stylize it a little. You can say, it's interesting. It's kind of fun at first. You could take what you sang and you could say, do this in a like hillbilly bluegrass style, do this in R&B style. And I would write a little simple song. And then I would say, do this as like a 90s boy band. And then I would send it to a buddy as a joke. But if you're trying to find out what production avenue you want to go down, Do you want it to have high energy drums, low energy drums? Do you want it to have, this instrumentation or that? You can hear your song with certain instrumentations and in certain styles until you find what you like. Then you use that as a template, kind of as a reference to go, okay. And basically this is what a producer does, is they know how to create a specific sound. And then you go, ideally, you go into the studio, which I haven't done yet, and record it for real with real musicians, which is the way we should do it.
You're looking for feeling.
Kind of. Because you're limited with just voice and piano. I don't want my album to be a solo guy and a piano, right? And I don't have access to an expensive studio and tons of musicians and tons of money and tons of time and engineers to go through the whole process of trying out different things. I have a very clear vision of what I want the song to be, and I use the AI tools to help me kind of find that sound. And sometimes it works great. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. I'm actually working on Soft and Quiet Voice, which is the song that I sang at Hideaway a cappella that you witnessed. And the AI is terrible. I can't seem to find a way to get the sound that I want. So I've reverted to just the old school.
Can I say something about this one?
Yeah.
Because would it be okay if I play this as well in the podcast? Like, show it?
Sure.
Yeah.
No
because
problem.
Then people know what I'm talking about. As I said, it was one of the most incredible situations of the entire evening was. That's why I thought, okay, this is different. So just to have the setting, there was an entrance where we got food like breakfast, dinner, and lunch, and this entrance had an arch, like I don't know how you say this kind of building is called, like colonial, like old school.
Yeah, it was kind of it was old. It was brick. It was castle-ish.
Yeah,
and
castle-ish.
In a lot of hotels they'll have the little overhang where you drive your car in to unload. It was kind of like that, but it was like a castle. I mean, of course they'll see it.
Yeah, and that's where, like, I would say 50 musicians who were all. I always had the imposter syndrome because I felt I'm the worst. I was the worst musician in that world. But I think the density of people with perfect pitch was wild.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah,
and I don't have perfect pitch either, so it was
this kind of
I
level of like multi-instrumentalists and like crazy. So we were standing under this arch, and already the vibe was crazy because people were starting to play their own songs.
What was his name? Gavin?
Yeah, I definitely want to ask him to be on the podcast as well. I'm so sorry that I'm blanking on the name. So he initiated only original songs, no Beatles, no like Stairway to Heaven, nothing like that. And people were starting to do that, and the vibe was getting crazy, and everybody participated and doing like background vocals and chiming in with their guitars. And then you came, and you were the first who didn't go further with the, like, I have my guitar with me and have an actual song. Like, it was just you in an a cappella, basically, where you sang. It wasn't even long, like maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah, well, it was not a long song. There's more lyrics. There's really one more verse. I have three. Okay. I have three verses to that song. But at the time, I was playing around with the idea of just the first verse and having it on the album just be a small interlude that was just a simple prayer.
Yes. And that's what I wanted to. Yeah, that's why I'm saying this now. Oh, wait, that's where I will put in the, like, people will now listen to it.
Listen close and rest your heart. Any burden you could hold. There's a soft and quiet voice waiting everywhere you go. There's a soft and quiet voice waiting everywhere you go. Yes, there's a soft and quiet voice with you everywhere you go. There's a soft and quiet voice, little childlike open arms, simply waiting for you patiently, and loving you through everything. Listen close and rest your heart. Any burden you could hold. There's a soft and quiet voice waiting everywhere you go. There's a soft and quiet voice with you everywhere you go. Yes, there's a soft and quiet voice with you. Everywhere you Wow.
So that's where that's a situation where I really thought this is exactly what it's, I think, meant to be. I don't think you should make it a song with, I don't know if that's your idea, to make it a song with drums and everything.
I've been trying a few different things, and I'll tell you, I'm frustrated with that because I'm not getting what I want. I feel like I keep hitting a brick wall with it. And so maybe it needs to be what it was, which is a very simple.
And that's where my producer brain comes in, because I feel that this is exactly the way it was. And especially the beginning, you a cappella, and then the background vocals coming in, like very subtly and quietly, just enhancing the harmonic structure to give the voice and this everything that you say some emotional background, like something to land in, something to like lay your head on your pillow style kind of blanket over you. And I think it would completely try to be something that it's not if you put a real song around it, you know? Because I don't think it's more of a meditational thing. It really is.
I think I maybe needed to hear this because I've been struggling with it I've been working on it for a week now, all week, every night. And it's just like every night I to throw everything away because it's not, when you get it, when you capture it, something in you feels it. And it's like, that's the thing.
And I haven't
gotten there.
Yeah. And I could even like call some of the voices that you made connections with and give them just some background vocals, like ask them to participate to have this vibe again. And even I can see this as an intro to the album, like to really set the mood, like this is what you're going to be like now. Just like close your eyes and just listen to this.
Ooh,
you know,
that's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. An angle here is that I have 7 or 8, maybe 6 or 7 really good songs that are older songs that I've basically completed previous work, but the things that I've written recently are completely different. And I almost feel like I need to release 2 albums. But I don't have enough songs for an album of new stuff. But the old stuff is just completely in a different vibe. So I don't know if I could put it all together, but
Yeah, maybe show me, and I give my thoughts around it. I would love to be able to have some ideas.
yeah, I'll start sending you. When I share stuff with you now, I'll tell you whether this is new stuff or old stuff. I'll go, this is an old one, or I'll tell you this is brand new, like pre Hideaway or post Hideaway. Like all the stuff I've written since Hideaway has the things that I've shared with you, and both of those came in a single night. Both of those songs arrived in one night, and then it took me one other evening to record them in demo version. So they just came really quickly.
So let me. So thank you so much. Like it really, I always say this, but I really mean it. It's a privilege to be allowed to be part of this process and listen to stuff like that. I really, really love it. Like it's almost like that's what I live for. Like this creative process, I just love it. So, but I would like to, if it's okay for you to come back to your life. And I would be very interested in, what actually is your job? Like, what do you do for a living? Have you ever, you don't have to go into it much.
Sure.
It's more like, have you ever thought about making music your career if it's not? Like, and why didn't you? And all of these things, like.
Right. So, music being a career would be incredible. It's kind of like to actually make a good living with music. My internal sense is it's kind of like making it to the NBA. Lots and lots and lots of people trying and few actually succeeding at becoming commercially successful. So I've kind of let that go as a goal. And in a kind of Rick Rubin-ish way, I've decided that I'm just going to make the music the best I can make it. And I'm not be concerned with what happens afterwards. Right. And a lot of that is just to remove expectations, remove goals, remove pressure, I did listen. I don't know if you've listened to Rick Rubin's book. Gosh, what's the title?
I did not. I didn't to the first part. I know him a lot. I listen to a lot of his things, but I didn't listen to the book.
What's it? Is it called The Creative Actor? I can't remember what it's called, but
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I can see the cover with the anyway. He's a big proponent of get yourself out of the way, get your goals out of the way, just serve the music, be present and let the music be the best music you can make and don't care whether it's successful or not afterwards. And for me right now, I think that's the route that I'm going. So in my normal day-to-day life, I have 2 jobs. I own a custom fabrication shop and I basically have a wood shop. And so people hire me to build things like bars or, gondolas for retail stores. I made this Star Trek thing in the back that you can kind of see. I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
So do you do it yourself?
Yeah. So I do it myself. I'm a craftsman. Basically, I'm a maker. I make things with my hands. And that's one of the things I really love to do so I have a full shop with all the tools and I go in there and I build doors for people. I build custom enclosures or custom, special closet doors that slide. Basically, I'm a custom fabricator for anyone that wants something unique. And then secondly to that, the other thing that I do is Florida has a medical marijuana industry, and I consult in that industry as kind of a project manager to help licenses legally navigate all of the compliance and regulatory issues that go on. So I'm kind of like, I am not a lawyer, but I'm well versed in the Florida statutes and in all the different ways that cannabis interacts and is legally regulated in Florida. And so I help people with that. And so, yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
it's not it's one of those things that just happen in life. For a short period of time, I worked as a builder because I'm a carpenter and a maker. I got hired by a company that was a medical cannabis license in Florida, and I helped them build buildings and build their grow houses and build anything that they needed on their campus. And I continued to work for that company for a few more years and ended up managing the manufacturing lab, which is where they take all of the cannabis flower, the actual plant, and they do different processes to it to create all the derivative products like vapes and tinctures and gummies and brownies or whatever it is that they want to make. So that manufacturing lab is something that I managed. And through all of those 3 different kind of jobs that I had with them, I learned deeply all of the rules for how things have to go. And through some other opportunities, basically, it just, got a call one day. Someone needed help. I helped them. The word spread. Next thing you know, I get calls once in a while to help people get through that process because it's incredibly regulated. There's there are millions of rules, and if you don't follow them, you get in big trouble. So knowing the rules is So that's my 2 jobs. I make stuff and I help people
Yeah,
grow weed, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so music is. I'm coming back to something. I mean, you said it's like playing in the NBA, and it's not easy, which I guess most musicians can relate to who are not somewhere in the realm of anything that's listened to much. You said, I wrote that down, when you had this was it Mr. Bob, one of the people who the old
Yeah, Mr.
jazz
Bob.
head who was
Yeah.
and you said he did gigs when it still was legit.
So I'm
What
trying
do
to
you
think.
mean by that?
So I was in high school in the 90s, right? In the early 90s. And this guy was like 80 something years old then. So he was probably born in the 1910, in the teens, right? Maybe. He was in the golden era of jazz and the 40s, 50s, 60s, even in the 30s. Like through that whole era, he was like a tenor player on the big bands when it was like that classic era of jazz music,
Okay,
when
that's
it
what
was
you mean
in
with
its
legit.
when it
Okay.
was in its true I don't know the right word, but when it was really going on, he was in there and he was a player and he was a guy, and he wasn't a famous front man, but he was a gigging, touring saxophone player throughout the heyday of jazz and big bands, and he witnessed it firsthand.
You mean like when I don't know, the first Cool J Herc and all of these like hip hop heads were starting in the Bronx and Brooklyn, and you're like when it was really starting to gain traction and actually was a thing.
Yeah,
Like
so he
you
was
cannot
around.
replicate that ever again. Like
No,
when dubstep started in London, when electronic music in the 90s came up, like you cannot
yeah.
ever replicate a
If you
period
were
like that.
there on the scene before it had a name and it was happening, like that was this guy. He was
Yeah.
pre-Bird, like way before Miles and Coltrane. Like he was in that early, that early time when it was in its infancy. Yeah, he was a really cool dude. And he brought me a lot of cool music, and I would listen to these
That's cool. That's cool.
mixtapes that he was great. But so yeah, commercial success, making a job out of music. I don't have illusions to that. Like, is it possible? Maybe. I don't knock it. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'll never have any commercial success, but it's not the point. If it comes, amazing. I would love that. It would be great. But what I'm okay with is, I'm okay with just releasing something and knowing that it's out there. And if that's all that happens, that's fine. If more happens, fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest struggles, right? That any creative has, any artist has. And I think I even, when I remember correctly, I asked Jacob in the Hideaway when there was a Q&A session, like, what do you think, like, Jacob, what do you think about commercial success and the discrepancy towards trying to be authentic while as well playing in the music industry, you know? And I mean, of course it's a Jacob answer, you know, it was more a confirmation of what I thought he would say.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, he's so much into his craft and his mind and world that obviously he says, yeah, I just do what I want.
Right.
And luckily, I had the success that I had. But not everybody's Jacob, and not everybody's a magnet of attention like he is.
Yeah,
so,
and he has an incredible mind, and he has an incredible set of circumstances that led him to have a highly unique level of attention. He, this is what he does. Like, I get home.
Sorry, just to not to downplay his accomplishments, like, not at all. I'm just saying that.
Of course, yeah. Like,
yeah.
Look, it's of course someone that has accomplished what he has a unique psychology, has a unique mind, has a unique that his nature shouldn't take away from his accomplishment. But to say that I love the stories his mom would tell about how he would line his toys up when he was a little kid over and over again in different configurations or in the same configuration. I can't really remember, but he obviously is a person that he's making music. I don't see him like hanging out watching TV, wasting time in his day. Like, I don't see him scrolling Instagram and doom scrolling. Like, I think he's, and again, I'm speculating about how Jacob lives his life and that, but I get the impression that this is not a person that has frivolous, time wasting, he's not like us. I'll come home and I'll watch TV. I'll.
But there's one thing that I want to really that I really it's a point that I'm trying to, like, I don't have precise words for this yet because it's a thought that came just through the Hideaway and my experience of being a lone wolf and then suddenly having a family of other lone wolves or other wolves. And what you realize with, I guess, most musicians who are somewhere at the top, but I think with Jacob it's quite apparent. I mean, he's a sponge, sucking it all in, like really everything. Yeah. And he immediately can do stuff with it. Like, it's not just, I'm having this information just to have it. I'm actually having this information and I can completely make gold, like completely transform it into something different. So that's him. So I don't want to downplay this, but the amount of people surrounding him who gave him the space, give him the opportunity that he has to be creative, to not have to worry about like a normal day job and normal day struggles, and be able to stay there and hone the practice and hone the energy and even be supported all the way through. I mean, this is so unique. And obviously, I mean, it has to be him too. It almost like if you give it to someone, it should be him because he's just so special.
Yes.
But the support he has and all the teachers that were there, I mean, Barack.
What a cool dude.
I mean, what a perfect mentor to have. I mean, crazy guy.
I love the moment in the Hideaway when Barack was talking and he told the story of how Susie came to him and told him how much of an impact that he had on Jacob and how important he was. Yeah,
that was the first introduction.
Yeah, he said that was one of the best days of my life because I didn't know. I didn't realize. I just thought it was, I didn't think I mattered. And he goes, and realizing that I mattered was probably the most amazing day of my life. And now that guy's traveling around the world doing seminars, and like, Jacob's lifted a lot of people up through his own success. He's taken a lot of people with him, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and that's so cool about him because some people get lifted up, and he did definitely. I mean, just a call
Yeah.
by Quincy Jones is one thing, but he doesn't use it only for himself. Like he
No, he does
really
not.
gives back, and he gives back on the smallest level. Like every person he could, like if he could, I think he would talk to every fan he has.
I think he
Like
would too. I think he had to learn. Yeah,
genuinely interested, even like not a fake, okay, I have to talk to my fans, really like interested in them.
yeah, he had to learn not to do that. He talks about how he was
Yeah,
burning
yeah,
himself out, and he really is surrounded by great people and the best in the world at everything. Like his,
yeah. I mean, June Lee, oh my God. I mean, what a friend to have.
I know,
How
and
crazy is he? Yeah.
yeah, those. I mean, the people that in his life are really, really incredible, and he deserves it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
he,
he
he's
does.
just he really is a unique guy, and if you took someone like me and you threw me in there, I wouldn't be able to make use of it in the way that it like if I was surrounded suddenly, if someone said, "Hey, you won the music lottery, you're going to be surrounded by the same people Jacob is for a year." I wouldn't I wouldn't be able to execute and make use of it the way that he can. I just don't
Yeah.
have the same innate talent and skill sets. Like I wish I
Yeah,
had perfect pitch, but
that's why I say I don't want to downplay it. Yeah, yeah, because I think he's, like you said, he's one of one. I mean, I'm making very, very extreme claims about him, which I will not mention publicly because I don't want it to be a competition in musicianship. But I really think he's just exceptional. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so we got to geek out a bit more on Jacob, which
sure.
is totally fine. um,
I
what
hope we
is
get to go back before I hope Hideaway. I hope it's not a one-off thing where it's just like we did it. Oh, maybe we'll do it. I hope he really does it every year for like the next indefinitely. And I hope that I can always afford it because at one point he's going to do it in like Greenland or he's going to do it somewhere. I know you traveled from Germany to do it, but he may do it in Japan or something where it's like, I don't know if I can spend because it was a
yeah,
little expensive, but I hope I get to go every year, and I hope a lot of us come back every year and see each other again. And I hope it gets
yeah.
bigger or maybe smaller, maybe even less people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's all up to him, right? It's all up to him. Um, there's one last topic that I want to cover, if
Okay,
you're still up for it,
I'm great.
and that is struggles, like creative struggles. Like, what is the part that you like the least, and also maybe you worry about the most, or like that actually is anything that is a struggle to you
Yeah.
in that
So
world.
one is I'm terrible at harmonizing. I can't do it live at all. Like if there's a melody, I'm singing the melody, and if someone says now harmonize it, I don't know what the harmony should be. Some people can just hear it and they just hit the harmony above, and I'm like, I don't know why I can't do it. And I won't say that it's impossible for me to learn it, but it probably would take significant effort on my part. Just last night, I was trying to harmonize, 4-part harmonize just the small intro to a melody that was very simple. And I tried it at first and it was terrible. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand this. And I understand harmony enough that I should be able to do this. And I tried again. It's terrible. And I got up this morning on the Logic session was the last attempt at it. I just threw it away because it's terrible. And I also don't understand how Jacob makes it sound so clean. Like you can hear every voice. When I do it, it's just this muddy, even when I'm like, feel like I'm perfectly in tune, it just doesn't sound good. And I keep coming up against things where I'm like, how in the hell do you do this?
Maybe I don't I would have to see it like exactly what you're doing, but that you don't cannot do it. I cannot buy it almost completely because when we did the recording session of the Hideaway song
That's
when I did
right.
the binaural.
And that was amazing, by the way. Kudos to you for putting that together.
Yeah, thank you. When I did that, you were harmonizing very, very good. Immediately, like you really
Yeah.
made a difference also in the recording session, and I can really always hear your distinct like sonic like depth. So that's the first thing that I say to
Sure.
you.
Okay. Fair enough.
The second thing is maybe you're going too deep. Too deep. I mean, with the octave. Maybe when you I'm not sure how low you harmonize, but I think if you go a bit higher, and because you have a tendency of obviously with the deep voice to probably harmonize deep, it maybe makes a difference of the cleanliness.
That's okay.
Then I can imagine that do you open your mouth, like do you make like what kind of?
I've tried a few things. If you watch Jacob really closely, he goes, ooh, he kind of makes an O and big open throat. And I've been trying to copy that to see if that helped. And it helped a little, but he'll go sub bass all the way to like ultra high, and you can hear 13 voices and it sounds perfect. And I can't get 4 to sound good. So that's one struggle.
But that's what I think. So try to not make it, to not have overtones. Like make your voice as non-overtonic as
I hear you.
can.
Yeah.
So ooh or oh or just just close your mouth.
Okay.
Maybe that helps.
I'll try that. Let me make a quick note of that. So,
and I mean, nowadays I really don't like autotune. Really don't.
I've done it.
If
I put pitch correction on it to be like, make it perfect, and it still doesn't quite sound right.
Really?
Yeah. I'll send you a little thing and be like, what are you hearing here? Next time I get anything worth sending out. Cause like I said, I've thrown it in the trash. So that's one struggle is, probably the biggest. I'll put that in the category. That's a small subset of a bigger struggle, which is I'm not a producer. I don't have production skills. I have, beginner logic understanding. I know how to make tracks. I know how to add EQs and compression, and I know the very, very intro basics. I had to Google what a bus was. I had to ask ChatGPT to tell me what a bus was. I'm like, what's a bus? And so as I'm trying to make music, I have the skills that I have, but there is a breadth of skills required to make good sounding music. And again, not knocking them. It doesn't even have to be Jacob. It can be any high level musician, does not mix, doesn't master, doesn't engineer, doesn't do now great. Someone will light me up and be like, I do it all and my stuff sounds great. Great. There are people in the world that can do it all. I'm not one of them. And frankly, I don't care to go to Full Sail or to go spend 2 years learning how to use Logic and mix and master. I don't care. I don't want to learn it. I want to work on writing songs. I don't have a passion for mixing and producing.
Then it's not a huge struggle if you don't even want to do it. I mean, then if you really wanted to, but you can't.
Yeah,
I think that's different. But
the struggle is
tell me. Yeah.
So the struggle is that there is a availability that's not there for me when I want to. So if I record something, if I want to really take it to the next level, I don't have the skills to do that, which means I have to go find someone, find the musicians, find a studio, find a producer, and all of that costs a lot of money to do well, because the people that are really good at it, they don't do it for free. So there's a financial barrier to executing music. There's a skill barrier to executing music, and there's a relationship barrier to executing music really well. I don't have them. I'm not surrounded by a set of people that have all the possible skill sets that I'm great friends with or that I have great relationships with. So there's some barriers to producing music that is radio quality, that's professional quality. That's a bit of a struggle. And honestly, frankly, that is why when I discovered the Suno AI tool, I thought to myself, well, this gets me a lot closer. It changes, it closes the gap, because really what it is it's a production tool. And what comes out of it, like it or hate it, sounds great when compared to what I'm able to produce myself. Sounds great. And so I use that to get the songs to like 90%. And then, of course, before I actually release it, now that I know what it should sound like, or have a reference for it, because I can't play drums and I don't have a drummer. So like, what's the difference between plugging in a Logic drummer that you can then tag to the bass line and you could choose which one, and an AI drummer, which is slightly more, there's legal differences, but I don't see from the creative aspect there being much different than picking a drummer out of the Logic kit and until you find the sound you want, or clicking a button on outputs until you get a sound you want. It's still click buttons until you get the sound you want. It's the same function. And I'm getting defensive of AI because some people are telling me, some people have this, like, if you use AI at all, then you're not the real creator. Well, we could talk. There could be a whole podcast just about this topic.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could.
So I won't get into
debate.
it. But I think I can win that debate. But we'll do that some other time. Anyway, that's where the AI is really helpful for me. It gets me a lot closer. And then when the time comes, I will pony up the money to find a good studio with the right producer, and I'll have references that will help us create the music. That's what I want to hear. So that's the main struggle for me.
Okay. I get completely. And I mean, of course, that's one of the few struggles that I don't have production, because Logic is my basically almost only instrument that I know. So maybe I can just give you some straight tips to like be efficient around it, because I think there's a lot you can do already with just very efficient processes, like to not have so much like in-depth experience. But one thing that I can definitely say is listen to, if you feel it sounds great, is so much more important than any, like, you have to put this compressor on it and you have to have this threshold and vocals are like this and you have to EQ them like that. Of course, I mean, if you really go to the highest level, there is a lot of things that you should know and do. But I hear people who compress their drums or other things to death. Like, there is almost no dynamics in the whatever track, and it sounds great. And so who am I to, if it sounds great, why should I like complain? And some people overuse the reverb, but it works in the song. So I think
at the end of the day, it's there's something good about not knowing the rules, because you're not burdened by the psychological idea that I have to follow certain protocols, rules, processes, and you end up with a more pure, like, if it sounds good, you're done.
Yes.
And end of the story.
I think the biggest problem that you will probably face is, but it's not the kind of music that you do as well, like the loudness war that everybody's talking about, like the LUFS and like -5, -6, -7 dB and stuff like that. That is actually it needs skill to be able to craft it that it's so loud. But that's more for electronic music and pop and house and
I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, I have no concept what you mean by any of that. Loudness?
Okay.
Don't get it. Don't understand.
Okay.
Like when the yellow thing starts to turn red, I turn things down. That's how sophisticated I am. I'm like, the thing's turning red. That's bad. Red's bad.
Let's have a small Logic session, and I will show you around a bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is there anything that you think is something that you want to close with, or a topic that we didn't explore that you feel is important to you? Like, where are you standing now?
Well, I did want to take the opportunity to tell you how cool the binaural project was at Hideaway,
Ah,
and
thank
how
you.
fun that was, and how awesome the result was. Like, I know what you were given. It's kind of like I know what ingredients they gave the chef, and what came out of the kitchen was incredible. I'm like, wait a minute, how did you turn this into that from those things? Again, so from a production standpoint, I was super impressed. I thought that was really lovely, and I hope it was able to eventually get into the hands of. I know Jacob came in when we were doing it and checked it out, so he was obviously intrigued. I hope he got a chance to listen to it. I don't know if he did or not. I know you were trying to get
Yeah.
Ben to listen to it, but either way, it deserves to be heard. I think you ought to put a link to it if there's a links. Um, if there's something in the podcast at the bottom, or we'll put a link in the text at the bottom. I think you should put a link to that and let people check it out. Obviously, tell them they need to wear headphones to do it, but it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to give you kudos for that. It was really fun project to work on, and
Yeah, maybe
so
I'll do an episode just around this, because it's been one of my lifelong, not lifelong, but I've been thinking about this way of recording for at least 10 years or more. And it's a whole like thing to explain what happened. I think it's an interesting story as well. I mean, just for
yeah,
me to relive it as well and to go back into it as well. I mean, this podcast is for people. This is more a podcast for me and the people I connected with in Hideaway. Than I hope it's interesting to people listening, but I don't
yeah.
know who's going to reach.
Again,
So
just make it,
yeah,
and don't worry about what happens after it. But you did make me consider when music today is made on a plate in front of you that comes at you this way, right? It comes now. I guess that's not true. If you put headphones on, you listen to a song, you get some surround, but it's not the way. It's not being made the
yeah,
way that you
exactly.
made
Yeah,
that, where you feel immersed in an environment where things are moving around you or present in 3D around you. It
yeah,
doesn't feel, and I think if someone made an album or even a couple songs that were where if you closed your eyes, you felt like you were in a room with musicians and the drummer's over here and the singer standing there and there's this instrument behind you and like you're sitting in the center of a circle, that could be really freaking cool. It would sound weird coming out of speakers at you, but I don't know, maybe there's a way you can do both. I don't know, but I think it's a great concept.
yeah. It actually it's really interesting that you say that, because I appreciate you saying that, like, the ingredients I got. I mean, I got the most amazing musicians, but the surrounding situation and the recording time and everything was crazy. Um, so I really have so much more ideas around this. I got into, like, I don't know, 20% of what this idea could make, like what would be possible. So
Yeah.
I can totally see that. And there's so many ideas I have with this. And
Yeah, the people
yeah,
were amazing, but the I mean, you had to set up uh in an basically, so the listeners know, like it was very fast, high pressure. There was like literally a person standing in the room babysitting us, waiting for us to finish. Um
Danielle, yeah, she's great. She's
yeah,
great.
she
Yeah.
was awesome. She was awesome, but her job was to like make sure we didn't touch anything. Like it was not an
Like,
ideal
don't
environment,
step
or
on the stage. Like, if I see you close to the stage, I will throw you out.
don't step on a cord, don't touch that wire, don't do this, please put the it's like, and they had every right to do that. There was so much money in that room that they were protecting, and it was amazing that they even let us do it. That most people would have been like, no, get out of here.
Yeah.
So it
And
was a
I don't
challenging
know if
environment.
you know this, but I'm going to say it in the story. But she said that Ben actually fought for it. He said,
Really?
like, if we want, yeah, Ben, he said, when he got to know that we want to do something like this, he said, we have to make it possible. Like, I'm so grateful for him. Like,
Wow.
Danielle told me this. Yeah.
That's awesome. See, that just
I
goes
mean,
even
what a
further.
great person Ben is as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those,
And I sent it to him. He never replied, but I sent it to Becca. She replied she liked it. I sent it to Dodie. She replied she liked it as well. I don't know if it will ever reach Jacob, but yeah, you never know.
Cool.
And of course, he will not write me, but maybe
Sure.
he
Yeah.
listened to it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the dream. I had ideas that, maybe I would give some of my music to a couple of people. I went there with this idea that I'm scared to share my music, or I had all this here, like I guess imposter syndrome, or and so I brought some music, a couple of songs on flash drives, and my thing was, I don't care if they listen to it or even respond. I'm going to do the very difficult thing of walking up to someone I feel like I have no business approaching whatsoever and going, "Hey, I would love to share what I'm making with you." And from an objective position, most people would be like, "You're a moron. Like, you have no business talking to that person. You're
And
some amateur guy."
You give them?
I did. I gave one to Susie Collier. I gave one to oh gosh, who was the guy from the Dirty Projectors? What's his name?
David Longstreth.
David. Yes, I gave one to David. I gave one to Dodie. I gave one to June. And I put one in the little gift box with a little letter. They had the gifts for Susie and Jacob, and the little, you could give them gifts. I wrote a little letter just telling them how moving it was to see the mother-son dynamic that they had. And that was on a side note. My mom passed away years ago, and relationship with her was tough, but seeing the way that she supported him and the way they loved each other and the way they were best friends, especially when he talks about, you could feel his mom on the other side of the world if he has a problem. That was really touching and really beautiful for me. And I wanted to share that with them. So I kind of wrote a note to Susie and Jacob telling them how one of the biggest impacts that Hideaway had on me was seeing their relationship and how beautiful it was. And then I included a flash drive in a little box and just said, "Hey, there's one song in here." It was soft and quiet voice. I said, the energy in that, I would love it if you guys would listen to it. You don't have to write me back or anything. Just, the idea that you might have heard my song is cool enough. But really the goal was to get over sharing, to get over there's a great analogy of when you become a cook, you secretly cook food and then you taste it until you think it tastes good. And then you might let like your girlfriend or boyfriend or your mom or dad taste it. And if they think it's good, you'll let a couple friends taste it. And if everyone keeps saying it's good, then you'll open a restaurant and let the world have it. Right. And so that was very deliberate. I have to get over the fear of sharing and thinking that I don't have any business sharing my music. And so it was an activity of psychological barrier breaking for me to just give it out. And I haven't heard back from anyone either, and I don't expect to, and that's fine. But I did it, and I've shared with you, and I've shared with Elizabeth, and started sharing with some people. So it helped a lot. It was great. But all in all, Hideaway was deeply transformative. It got me getting things done. It got me able to share things. I met beautiful people that I hope to see many more times in my life, including you. I felt, for the first time, I felt camaraderie and through a through line. And I felt this, I left with a kind of like, it does exist. I'm not on an island. It is out there kind of feeling. And a drive to like, you said family, and that works. Like, I know that if I post a finished, fully produced song in the Hideaway chat, like, people are going to listen and people are going to care. And
yeah.
And a lot of us don't have that around us. I certainly don't. So
yeah, I like the words, and I especially I always love when people do something when they overcome a fear, because I think we are, everybody who's listening, I know everybody's more capable than they think.
yes,
Maybe not even in skill, in the sense that, oh, I cannot play Beethoven's, I don't know, something.
yeah,
but capable in the sense of staying there, believing that it's possible and
Yeah.
making it happen, even without any potential, I don't know, gain that is monetary or financial. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Express
it's growth.
yourself. Get it
Yes.
out of there. Yeah.
It's growth on a different level. It's growth. It's personal growth, like making music and overcoming a fear like you did. Maybe it has nothing to do with the music, but it changed you as a person, and you are now able to tackle fears that you maybe things that you were avoiding in other parts of life that
Yeah.
that touch the same fear. And that's what I mean with like there is much more capability in all of us.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You're
thank
absolutely
you
right.
for
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much, man. It's been a really pleasure catching up with you, and I'll share
Yeah.
more with you for sure. Yeah.
I'm
More to
looking
come.
forward to it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
where can people? I don't even know. Like if it's not your job, where can people reach you?
If someone wants to reach me, you're more than welcome to put my email in the text or the attachments to the podcast. If anyone wants to
Yeah, I'm
reach
very
out and say hi.
hesitant to do that actually. Just to I don't know how many people will listen. I don't think it's many, but
Yeah.
you never know who's on the internet and like having.
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Maybe those are better handles to put out there so people can reach out to me through social
what's
media.
your handle on Instagram?
It's funny. I don't even remember exactly how I spell it. Let me look.
That's so cool.
Um,
Yeah, I'm there. I'm not there as well. I'm only on Instagram because my wife sends me instas like reels, and I should like.
I don't know if this will. No, it's too bright. It's backward. Speedy Sloth Man. That's my handle.
Oh, that's cool.
Speedy Sloth Man.
Speedy Slothman. Okay.
Yeah.
I like the name.
And then on Facebook, it's just my name, Blake Briand.
Is that your artist name as well?
No,
Speedy
not at all.
Slothman?
So back when I made Instagram, I've only recently joined Instagram. It was a few years ago. I was running a lot, and my friends. The quick story is, I shared a baby sloth video back when that hit the internet. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and somehow all of my friend group decided that I loved sloths. And so I started getting sloth t-shirts and sloth socks and sloth this and sloth that and everything is sloth things to put on my car window. And like everybody's thought I was like the sloth guy. And
That's so funny.
in my nature thought it was humorous. So I kind of leaned into it and was like, I love sloths. So now I have sloths all over my house. So I was running and I just made a joke name, Speedy Sloth Man, because it's kind of
funny.
what did you call it? Juxtaposition of fast sloth.
Yeah, exactly.
And now that's silly. It's kind of like one of those guys that has a very juvenile email account name, and then they have to share it for work, and it's something like some 12-year-old raunchy
something with a 69 in the name.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll share those with you after the thing, and you can post them so people can get a hold of me. And in terms of hearing the music, that's coming. I'm not sharing anything publicly yet because I don't have anything that's publicly available. But you're welcome to share the snippets we talked about here, and
that's great.
Those are there'll be a little taste, and hopefully by the end of a year from now, I think I should have everything done and professionally produced, and that's kind of a goal. Maybe next holiday season, I'll be releasing a real album, which would be a lifelong dream. So it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, Blake, thank you so much, and hope to speak to you soon again.
Yeah. Thank you, Philip. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.